Let's talk about the fragrances that I took home, rather wore, the week of my wedding. Let's get on into it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. The Santa Maria here, and yes, I am sharing with you all my wedding week fragrances. You all have asked me a million times, girl, what did you wear on your wedding day? If you know, if like any true frag head, one fragrance isn't enough. A whole week of fragrances is more like it, and that's what I rocked out with. But alas, before we get into that, lipstick of the day today, everyone, we went with a peachy brown situation, and this is from MAC. Well, of course, this is MAC Teddy 2.0 in their Powder Kiss formula, basically the new and improved Teddy. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, it'll be linked so you don't have to look for it. Next up, we have fragrance of the day today. This is what I told you all I am excited to wear for fall 2023, and this is from the house of YSL, and this is YSL's Libre Le Parfum. You all know the Le Parfum version is my favorite. This is because it has that orange blossom and that honey in here, and quite frankly, it's the most sexiest one of them all. Libre Le Parfum is the fragrance of the day, and it will be linked below as always. By the way, there is a dedicated review up on the channel already about this fragrance, so you don't have to worry about, okay, tell us more about it. I already have the information for you, just watch the video. So all right, without further ado, let's get into these fragrances that I took home with me for my wedding week. So if you all recall, I was gone for a minute in the month of September because yeah, I had to go back to my hometown because that's where I got married in. For the new elves that may not know this, I am from Memphis, Tennessee originally, so yes, go Grizzlies, all the above. But alas, I went home and I was gone for like 3 weeks. So of course I couldn't just take 1 or 2 fragrances because I was gonna get bored. Just, For all my fragrance lovers, you all know we gotta have options. So I took home, what's this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fragrances. And of course I picked up 1 while I was there. So it turned into 8 fragrances. So the first fragrance I want to talk about is from the house of Xerjoff or Casa Marati. Casa Marati was the original fragrance house that it is, but it was acquired by Xerjoff. So let's talk about Dhama Bianca. And yes, you all have seen me talk about Dhama Bianca a few times, but I really wore it a lot and really got my feel for this fragrance those last few weeks leading up to the wedding, and especially the week of the wedding. So just a refresher on the notes, we have notes of lime and kumquats, we have jasmine, lily of the valley, and there's cedarwood and white musk in here. A lot of people describe this one as a dainty, elegant vanilla type of fragrance. And I have to agree with that. A lot of people consider this a bridal fragrance, which to be fair, if you are a spring or summer bride, I totally get it. But as you all know, I was a fall bride and this one gonna cut it for me. So it's nice as an everyday fragrance, and I did enjoy it as a casual throw on, so it's good for that. And the lasting power was really nice on it too. But y'all know I gotta say it, Dhama Bianca is just okay for me. She didn't move me like everybody claims that it's going to move them. It's just okay. She's cute, but she's not amazing. It's just how I feel about that. And I wore this a lot while at home, so yeah. Dhama Bianca, I still enjoyed you though, but just you couldn't be the wedding fragrance, just no. Another fragrance I also took home with me, and this is from the house of Amouage, and this is a 2023 release. You have to be living under a rock if you don't know what this fragrance is, because everybody's been talking about it, whether good or bad. And the fragrance I'm referring to is from Amouage, and this is Guidance, the infamous Guidance. Like I told you all, I have the 50 ml size that you can pick up exclusively on the Amouage website, because y'all know I am team 50 ml, and this fragrance is so potent that I don't need 100 ml of it because I would never finish it. That's just quite frankly how I feel about it. So alas, let's get into the notes. So there's top notes of pear, frankincense, hazelnut. Then we have heart notes of saffron, rose, jasmine, sambac, and we have osmanthus. Then we have base notes of cistus, sandalwood, akagaya wood, ambergris, and vanilla. So there is a lot going on in here. The fact that there's frankincense alone in here let me know this was going to be a beast mode scent. But I purchased this fragrance back during the summertime because it did grow on me. This was not a love at first sniff fragrance. This was one that I sampled, then I eventually understood it, and that's why I have a full-size bottle. I wore it to a few events even before we got to the wedding season, and I was like, I'm digging it. Massive compliment getter. And you all, I wore this fragrance to a certain event. I wore this to my rehearsal dinner and my wedding rehearsal the night before, and let me tell you, this got so many compliments. So Guidance to me is now classified as a going out fragrance, because if I'm at a dinner, I'm at an event, this is what I pull out. This is the one that gets attention for sure. So Amouage Guidance, again, this was was the wedding rehearsal the day before wedding eve fragrance. The next fragrance is also from the house of Amouage that I took home with me during my last days as a single woman. This was Amouage's Honor Woman, which you all have seen me talk about Honor Woman before. This fragrance is significant because this was my bridal shower fragrance, so that's why I had to bring it home with me too to culminate my wedding season. So I wore Honor Woman a lot, particularly on Sundays while I was there. Again, I was gone for 3 weeks. So this fragrance is so elegant and classy. Refresher on the notes, we have top notes of pepper, rhubarb, and we have coriander. Then we have heart notes of jasmine, tuberose, gardenia, lily of the valley, and carnation. We have base notes of vetiver, frankincense, amber, openox, and leather. Beautiful. It's the tuberose, then the jasmine here, and of course I love good lily in the valley moment. This fragrance is beautiful. Now the longevity on this fragrance, I get about 4 to 6 hours of longevity out of this fragrance. Very pleasant, very nice. This is one of those, oh, you just smell really classy and elegant, which, I mean, look at the bottle. It's very regal. So this is one why I reserved it for wearing on Sundays more so, because it gives me that kind of elevated, dainty lady type of vibe. So that's why I had to bring Amouage's Honor Woman home with me for the wedding festivity. Now let's talk about my Kilian fragrances, because yes, there is more than one that made the trip. The first one I want to talk about is one that was on my wish list for over an entire year. I almost say it was probably 2 years just about. And this is Kilian's Woman in Gold. Beautiful fragrance. I can't preach about this fragrance enough. This is the most underrated, most slept on fragrance from the house of Kilian. I stand on that. The other ones, love, that's cute. We still like her, don't get me wrong, but Woman in Gold, she is phenomenal. I can't preach that enough. There's vanilla in here, there's some tonka bean in here, and there's also akagaya wood in here too, and I love it. This is also, in my opinion, the longest lasting of the women's fragrances. Like, this one lasts on me all day. And I wore this one a lot too. The reason I enjoy Woman in Gold and why it's significant too is because I actually wore this fragrance when we went to get our marriage license, which is a big deal. That's when it gets real, get legal documents, we signing over things, you know? So Woman in Gold was the fragrance I wore for that, because hey, if you ain't got your marriage license, big shebang that you're doing ain't nothing but a big party, just saying. But alas, Kilian's Woman in Gold, beautiful fragrance. I love this one. Used up samples of it and I was like, no, I'm getting it for my wedding moment for sure. So Kilian's Woman in Gold, absolutely a significant fragrance in this journey. Then a newer one to the bunch. This is from the house of Kilian. This is new school Kilian, and this is Kilian's Can't Stop Loving You, my battered and bruised bottle. My bottle got beat up because of this trip during my wedding week, but I wouldn't change it for the world, y'all. This fragrance is addictive. This is another one that was a love at second sniff, because I wrote it off after the first sniff, but I'm so glad I revisited it, you all. Can't Stop Loving You. This became my most worn fragrance of them all that I'm talking about today. I wore this fragrance a good 50% of this trip. I'm just saying, if I was just at the house, this is what I had on. Y'all, it was just that good. Can't Stop Loving You, it's an orange blossom fragrance. It's also a honey fragrance, and it just has that beautiful romantic Kilian DNA. I mean, the name says it all. Can't Stop Loving You, it had to make the trip, so it's a winner. Plus the head elf, he enjoys Kilian fragrances on me as a whole. He noticed whenever I wear Woman in Gold, and he noticed when I wear this one. So I mean, hey, it works out. I'm like, you're the groom to be. It makes sense that you like it too, so it works out. Kilian's Can't Stop Loving You definitely made the trip. The next fragrance is one that I sampled here on the channel with you all, and I told y'all this was a love at first sniff, so I had to get a full bottle of it. This is Talim's Patiala. Y'all, this fragrance is elegance, definitely a bridal fragrance. This one was definitely a contender for being my actual wedding day fragrance. And y'all, let me tell you, it was almost there, but this was the one I wore when I was getting like my nails done, getting my hair and stuff done. I wore Patiala, so it played a part in the glam, the wedding glam part of the trip and stuff. So definitely love this one. A refresher on the notes, we have notes of aldehydes, we have citruses, we have middle notes of rose and orange blossom. Then we have base notes of amber, oak moss, and musk. This is just classically feminine and beautiful. Definitely straight up feminine. And it just has this airy, just silkiness about it too. It just wafts in the air. It's not a heavy scent, but it's one that once you smell it, it makes you want to know more about the person. So this is one that's kind of enchanting, and I enjoy Patiala for that. Patiala was indeed gifted to me from Twisted Lily. You all know I talk about Twisted Lily all the time. I do have a code with them. I'll display that code here for you, so you can definitely save some coin on it, but definitely sample first, and as well, pick up a full bottle if you love it like I did, because y'all know I sampled first, then I picked up the full bottle. But yes, Talim's Patiala made the trip. Next up, Yep. Then we have from the House of Parfums de Marly, we have the infamous Valaya, you all. Valaya, which was the spring summer release from the House of Parfums de Marly. This was one I smelled it the first time. I was like, we'll see. Glad I held on to my sample card, took it home, and it seemed like it got stronger and louder the more hours went on. I was like, oh, this is a deceiving scent, because to look at the bottle, I thought this was going to be a weakling. I thought it was going to be overly dainty and it wasn't going to last nothing but 2 hours. No, this lasts all day. If y'all recall, I purchased this one back in, say, like May, June. So I had it for a minute, spent a lot of time with Valaya. So I knew this one was beautiful and definitely one that would go the distance. A quick refresher on the notes. So we have top notes of bergamot, mandarin, and white peach. Then we have heart notes of orange flower, nymphrol, vetiver, and then we have base notes of akigaya wood, ambrofix, and musk. So okay, the notes are definitely pretty. The peach note for sure definitely shines through, but it's that base for me that really takes this fragrance over the top and really gives it that niche edge. That akigaya wood and the ambrofix, yes, just yes. And the musk. The musk plays no game, and it's because of the fact how this scent is so beautiful. This scent lasts, it hugs the skin, it hugs the fabric. Whatever you are wearing, you're going to smell it even after you wash it. True story. I love it so much. And then most importantly, you all, fun fact, the first time I ever wore this fragrance, we were doing a road trip one early morning, sprayed it on, did not say nothing. And I walked through the house, the head elf literally said, oh my goodness, what are you wearing? That must be new. I was like, huh. It got a reaction out of him, so I was like, interesting. And I've worn it again and he's also reacted to it. So I said, you know what, he really likes Valaya. So yeah, I said, you know what, it gets a reaction out of him. And second, it goes the distance. And of course, third, most importantly, I love it. So you know what? I said, this gonna be my wedding day scent. So yes, y'all, my wedding fragrance, wedding day fragrance, shall I say, was Parfums de Marly Valaya. Hands down, this is the scent, this is the one. So yes, I have given lists and suggestions of wedding fragrances, but for me personally, it was Valaya. Valaya was the one. She shined. And oh, by the way, even at my reception, which at this point, I'm hours into my day, I got a ton of compliments wearing this fragrance. And I was like, oh, really? Wow. They was like, no, you smell really good, because I'm hugging a whole bunch of people, seeing a lot of guests, friends, family, all of that. This was a hit. Not only were people saying, oh, you look beautiful, which is kind of typical. Everybody tells the bride that. I mean, hello. I was getting scent compliments. So that's how I know Valaya is really that girl. And yeah, she's definitely that girl. So I love my other Parfums de Marly fragrances. Y'all know this. Some of the other ones also have significance too. But now Valaya is queen because she has the ultimate scent memory, and that is my wedding day. So remember I told you all that we started out with 7 fragrances, but we ended up with 8 by the end of the trip. So I decided that the week of the trip that I was gonna pick up a long time wish list item. This fragrance has lived rent-free in my head for an entire year. Smelled it a year ago. It was love at first sniff, and I knew I had to have a bottle. So I made that happen like 2 or 3 days before the wedding. Fragrance I'm talking to you all about, and that is Bond No. 9's Chelsea Nights. There isn't a lot of talk about this fragrance. A lot of times I know we talk about Greenwich Village, which you all know I love. That was my first baby from the House of Bond, so that's a forever for lifer for me. Talk about Tribeca, we talk about New York Nights, all of those, they cute or whatever, that's great. But Chelsea Nights, it's the new queen. It's the new queen. This is the new queen. A refresher on the notes, you all. We have notes of saffron and cocoa. Then we have middle notes of tuberose, myrrh. Then we have cedarwood and oud oil. And then we have base notes of amber, vanilla, suede, patchouli. Y'all, certified fall, even going into winter scent. So I was like, yes. And then look at the bottle. It's literally meant for you to wear it going out. So we had a after hours kickback that we did. We had at a rooftop, that type of thing, met up with friends. Of course, at that point, we didn't change out of our wedding things and all that. I done put on a cute cocktail dress, and this is what I wore. Y'all, Chelsea Nights, let me tell you, in that night air, you can smell, you can feel that coolness in there. It's the cocoa in here, that suede, that oud. Y'all, this is sexy. This ain't no pretty girl scent. This is sexy scent. This is very, very sexy. You can't wear this fragrance and not have the energy of, I'm that chick, I'm that girl, which hello, I was the bride. So naturally I had that type of energy, and I needed a fragrance that reflected that. And to me, it's Bond No. 9 Chelsea Nights. This is a definitely main character energy type of fragrance. It's a that girl type of fragrance. It's all of the above. This is the star. I mean, literally the bottle is the shape of a star. So it works. The Bond No. 9 Chelsea Nights shut it down, and it rounded out the list of fragrances, y'all. So all right, everyone, that wraps up this video on my wedding week fragrances. Let me know what you think about what I took with me to wear during my final days and on up to the big events again of the wedding. Let me know your thoughts as always. And number one takeaway is that Valaya is that girl. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Actually, make a point to check out all of the fragrances I talked about because all of them are special in their own right. But again, Valaya was the star of the day, and then again, Chelsea Nights was the star of that evening. Let me know your thoughts as always, and every fragrance I talked about will be linked below so you can check it out at your own leisure. But until next time else, I will catch you on the next video. Bye, y'all.